5 decades ago, 4 young people took a bold stand against racism.
And their lunch counter protest helped fuel the civil rights movement and solidify their rightful place in history. As we prepare to celebrate Black History Month, Action News Jax is focusing on the local stories that help to shape our community. And this is the story of the St. Augustine Four. Audrey Nell Edwards, Joanne Anderson Omer, Willie Carl Singleton, and Samuel White. They are known as the St. Augustine Four. I spoke to Dr. Tony Hill, former state senator and current chair of Florida's African American History Task Force, about their story.
Their thing was, they were saying, we got to turn the heat up a little bit. We got to turn the heat up.
They were among a group of young people arrested after they tried to order hamburgers at the whites-only Woolworth's lunch counter on King Street in July of 1963. But the St. Augustine Four remained in jail after they refused to sign papers promising they would stop demonstrating, a decision their families supported.
Their parents said, no, we're not going to agree to that. And of course, they paid the ultimate price.
Between being put in jail and then reform schools, the four would be detained nearly 6 months, trapped in the system and away from their families.
For them to be thrown into that type of environment was really tough.
As attempts to get them free failed, protests ensued. News of their incarceration began to spread across the country, creating a very stark contrast to the sunny and welcoming tourist destination that Florida leaders touted it to be.
At that time, remember, Florida was a tourist place. And so they were spending millions of dollars at places like the World's Fair in New York and talking about, come to Florida, it's the oranges and all that. But what people were seeing on the TV was different than what the governor was saying.
With the pressure mounting, in January 1964, the governor and his cabinet finally ordered their release. Dr. Hill says the courage, commitment, and conviction of the St. Augustine Four is an example that young people can learn from today.
I would say to the young people today, get involved. The barriers have been knocked down, and that we need to be moving forward and not going backwards.
And 1 year after the Woolworth sit-in, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Many historians credit the fight for civil rights in St. Augustine, Florida, including that sit-in by the St. Augustine Four, as the catalyst for making that happen.